The Union Army is standing at attention at the site of a slaughter. Hundreds of their soldiers have already died in a previous charge, and they're about to go in again. The Confederate Army is holding the largest trench line of the Civil War. The Union has thousands of soldiers at the ready to push through the line, but it will be a bloody and deadly battle. Will the Confederates be able to hold their recently captured town against the Union, or will they all die trying? If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into this thing. Alrighty then, boys, let's go ahead and press start right here and see what happens in the largest Civil War trench defense here. We've got the Confederate lines getting the first volley in, but the Union quickly responds with fire of their own, and a number of Confederate soldiers go down in the trench line here. But it does seem like the Confederates right now are holding a higher kill count, as there is a ton of dead Union soldiers back here. They are getting ripped into right now. A few Union soldiers, though, taking the opportunity to charge into the first trench line here of the Confederates and just start moving through here. These guys get down extremely quickly. They were probably reloading their Springfield, so they did not stand much of a chance against the charging plethora of Union soldiers here, who are now going to start going down the line and taking out different Confederate soldiers who are still reloading right now, so that is not a good thing at all. Now, there are these two Armstrong mortar cannons back here. We'll see if they end up doing anything. In Born in the Fire America mod, mortars and cannons tend to not be super duper effective, but we'll just have to see. Either way, the left line over here of Confederates is holding very nicely. They have extremely few losses on the trench line itself. These guys down here are actually from the previous battle dead. It's the guys up here that are dead that are the newbies for the most part. Maybe a couple of guys in the trench itself are newbies who are dead, but yeah, for the most part, they'll die up on the trench wall over here. So the left side's still holding really nicely. You can see they are digging into the Union lines extraordinarily well. The Union does have a field office up this way where they've got a number of soldiers firing out from their own trench, which I think is going to be very helpful for them. Having your own cover that's actually higher up than the enemy's is extremely valuable here. However, it's not going to be of the utmost importance. The utmost importance is actually getting into the trench and sifting through the enemy defenses here, which these guys are getting down and dirty with, though taking extreme losses in the process. All right, let's go ahead and bump it up a speed here and see some real carnage getting going here. Now remember, this is only the first line of defense for the Confederates. They have a second line back here that is still fully loaded with troopers, and it looks like they are doing cover fire into their own trench further up ahead, although they've taken no losses thus far, which makes sense. And then there's a third line of defense back here, where they've actually got one Gatling gun over this way, and then another Gatling gun over here. And then the final stand lines are going to be over here, which obviously used to be a Union-held city, which is now under Confederate control. So we shall see if the Confederates can hold the city overall and fend off the Union counterattack here. These guys back here getting some good licks in from a very far distance away, but what's more important is the close-up boys over here continuing to get good shots off themselves. We are seeing both sides taking extreme losses, but definitely the Union is getting outpaced in kills by the Confederacy by a decent bit here, though their numbers speak for themselves. They have so many troopers out here. They should be able to catch up potentially, especially if they take this trench and flip it against the Confederates and start firing from this line outwards. It'll just be sort of almost World War I trench warfare, if we're being honest here, which would be pretty cool to see. These Confederates inside of the trench lines here are getting some nice kills on any Union soldiers who are stupid enough to peek over the edge. These officers here don't even seem to realize there's a Confederate soldier down below here. Oh, but these guys are going for him. Oh, he hit him with the Kapuya punch and took him down real nice. Very nice. How are the Confederates doing over this way? They're getting trampled. Those rebels are all but gone from this trench line over here. And even a few Union soldiers starting to fire out this way against some of the Confederate defenders on the opposite end over here. I'm wondering when the Gatling gun will start firing. It seems to be quiet for now. We shall see how it ends up doing long term here, because those things can be extremely effective, but mainly in choke points, because they're so inaccurate. They miss a lot of shots, to say the very least. All right, lots of these Confederate soldiers over here actually getting suppressed now from all the incoming Union rounds, and even a couple of them have died as the Union start to turn their attention from this back trench here to this new front trench now. And look at that. Yeah, they're lining up on this wall here and just pouring fire out at the Confederates. That is a beautiful sight to behold. Let's go ahead and bump it up to full speed ahead, baby. We only do it in slow-mo for the very start of the battle, just to negate some of the lag that comes from these very large battles. Oh! Did you guys see that? Wow, okay, the mortar cannon actually firing out at the Gatling gun over here. The Gatling gun itself firing away too now, so maybe that mortar can actually take this thing out. That would be ideal for the Union if they can secure a very, very distant shot into the Gatling gun and take it out early on. Oh! Double kill over here on the far right flank over this way. We've got some very brave officers, or stupid, I'm not entirely sure which, charging across the battlefield lines here, while their troops behind them do some covering fire. Impressive stuff. There is another mortar shell right there, just barely missing those two troops. We can see this guy right here is actually a sniper for the Confederacy. They have those light tan uniforms, and then also sharpshooters in the Confederacy also have those uniforms too. So kind of an interesting little thing that we've got on the battlefield here. These guys on the far left over here seem to be taking some extreme losses currently, but this second line of defense is really a supporting line. The third line back here is primed to take out Union troops at the end, but this line here is designed to try and pick off as many as possible, while also being spaced out enough that they're not going to get destroyed really quickly. It's a bit more of an attrition line. The first line here was just a bam, kill as many Union soldiers as fast as possible. Second line is support line, attrition line. Third line is finish the job. At least that's the strategy the Confederates are going for here. And right now it seems to be working, because the second line is definitely lasting a lot longer than the first line ever had a chance to. So that's a good thing for the Confederates, bad thing for the Union. We'll see if the Union can manage to respond to that by just advancing some troopers here, maybe getting a little bit closer with their shots would be helpful, but right now they are taking things at quite the distance, which I'm not sure is doing themselves much good. Because they have the higher ground, they're able to shoot down into the trenches. The Confederates have to shoot up. Getting closer would definitely be advantageous for the Union soldiers here. The Confederates definitely have the advantage. They hold the high ground. It's over, American government. Look at these guys over here, lining up shots, picking off Union soldiers bit by bit. These dang rebels. Take them down, boys. Get on up there. Kill the dang rebellion. Put these boys in their place. Rejoin the Union. All right, let's see. Lots of losses on this side, though. Ooh, another guy gets hit while suppressed right there. Unlucky. We do have Union soldiers finally pushing out into the open, into sort of the no man's land area over here. So the Confederates should have some easy shots here since they're so close and out in the open. However, the Union is doing nice suppressive rolling fire. They take a few steps, they fire. They take a few steps, they fire. It's a nice strategy that they're employing at the moment. These guys up top, though, still picking away at them and getting as many kills as possible. Let's go ahead and actually check out some of the kill counts here. The Gatling gun has 2 kills. The mortars back here never managed to kill it. Oh! Shot going out. Let's see. Oh! I almost spoke too soon, but it just barely hit the rampart there. And that thing is still alive. Crazy. This mortar has 1 kill, this one has 0, so these things have been missing shots left and right. Either way, let's check out the losses. Yellow are going to be Confederate, red are going to be Union soldiers. The big chunky body piles here, and then back here and over here, I think it was. Those are, oh no, there's none over here, it's over here. Those were all just sort of like environmental, like the last assault type deaths, so they're not actually a part of this battle or anything like that. They were just for aesthetic purposes. But either way, the Union is still taking horrific losses on the battlefield. The Confederacy is starting to take more losses back here as their back lines begin to get sprayed more and more by rifle fire. This Gatling gun's still alive. It's not doing anything crazy. Again, only 2 kills, but hey, maybe it will mount a bit better of a defense as time goes on here. There's some more of those mortar shots coming on in. These Confederates doing a good old job defending. Let's see if our good old-fashioned Union boys can take them over. Let's go ahead and do a small little time lapse here because it is just kind of spraying fire at each other back and forth over and over again, and not many people are dying right now. Alright, just a quick little 2-minute time lapse right there. Looks like more of these Confederate soldiers have gone down, so the Union is finally making some progress, baby. Let's go! And this side over here also taking some severe losses. This hill encampment has been, in particular, and this one over here, very difficult, very taxing on the Union Army. So it's good to see that they're finally getting past that point. Losses have been heavy across the battlefield here. You can see bodies on the ground, torn up flags. It is a brutal, brutal battlefield, but they're about to mount over the hillside here, which could be absolutely giant for them. These guys are dead. They just kind of glitch weirdly like that, so it's, you know, whatever. But this back Confederate line here could be really tough. I could see it going one of 2 ways. Either they're able to shoot the guys right as they crest over the hill here and just basically negate any threat that comes up this way, or these guys come up here and are able to spray downwards and are very hard to hit and kill them quickly. I would say probably the former is more likely, but yep. Oh god, okay. Yikes, that guy got obliterated. That guy made a little bit more progress though, so that's good. I think a massive assault here is going to be the way to go, and it looks like they're kind of gearing up with like 20 or 30 troopers to do that, but right now they're definitely falling into the trap of trickling in. And on the other side, we've got these guys still distracted by a number of Confederate troopers. A couple over here. Yeah, those guys are still very much so alive. And the Gatling gun is still up too. That's crazy. How many kills does it have? Still only 2. That's how inaccurate this thing is. Actually, it might have gotten into a weird position where it can't fire anymore from that mortar shell. It might have shifted it downwards, so the gun can't point high enough to fire. That might be the problem, because it has not fired in a while. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Okay, a couple of Confederate soldiers on the back line over here are going down. We do have a little bit of help from the guys in the back houses here, so that's going to be supporting their cause right there. But these Union troops are going to persist and see if they can clear out this area. Honestly, if they could get these guys to really shift it into gear and charge up here, take this area, and then fire diagonally down, that would be absolutely massive, but I'm not entirely sure this regiment knows that that would be super helpful. You can see the rolling fire here, which is just obliterating Union troopers trying to take the initiative in assault. That is tough. We're also seeing some fire from the guys all the way back here. Holy cow. Yeah, these rifles have some range to them, baby. These guys back here also able to fire, so it's heating up for the Union. It's becoming tough. That is for sure. This is actually a really cool angle to see. I love doing Civil War battles and like American Revolution battles and Napoleonic War battles. It's such a fun time in history in terms of strategy and warfare and things like that. It's super cool to watch and see and all that stuff. The one thing is that it is definitely a lot slower paced. You know, you don't really get to see if a battle's gonna work out for one side or the other or not until very, very deep into the battle. Because with muskets and rifles, certain positions can hold for forever, or they can hold exceptionally poorly. So it's kind of a crapshoot as to what you're gonna end up getting. Either way, the Confederate line right now is holding extremely well. The Union's not pushing that much, so it's kind of no wonder they're holding pretty well. But why don't we go ahead and time lapse and let's see what happens from this angle. All right, boys. Well, the battle continues onward. These fellows down in the trench are still holding exceptionally well, doing a bang-up job, and the Union troops are really dwindling now. If we look at the minimap, blue are Union soldiers left alive, red are Confederate soldiers left alive. Confederates really only have this pocket holdout over here. I think these Union soldiers potentially swinging from this direction could help a lot, but they've still yet to really clear this entire top bit. There's still a few soldiers left alive there, and this this Gatling gun still very much so alive over here, so that's also a little bit problematic for the boys. But we'll see if it really does make much of a difference. There we go. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Swinging around this way could definitely be the Union's way into a victory here. I don't think it's completely over for them yet, but it's getting there, that's for sure. It's getting rougher. A few troopers have died back here. No one really back here. And a couple over here, actually, as well. Probably from these guys way over that way. So, and even, honestly, shots that were intended for these guys could have hit these guys back here, too. There's also another Gatling gun here. I think I mentioned that before. It's got 4 kills, which isn't crazy. But, I mean, like, hey, it's decent enough, I suppose. It's, you know, it's doing something. It's doing something. Unlike the other one, which is still at 2 kills. So, not doing really anything for that one. So, why don't we check it out from the Confederates' perspective this time? Been another couple minutes now, and the Confederate lines are just straight up holding. I didn't even realize this. There's a trooper still down here, a sharpshooter actually. He's got no kills and he's lost his hat, but he's still technically alive up there. There's still Union soldiers over this way too. I'd say probably in total maybe like 30 more Union soldiers are alive. I'll bring some of these guys from the way back up because they're probably glitched there. The mortars really haven't been firing like at all anymore, so maybe they ran out of ammo or something. Also, this did die. These ones over here are still alive though, so that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think the Union is probably going to take the L here, but they did do a very valiant effort. The only problem is they spent so much time over here that they got kind of picked off one by one until they don't really have enough of a force to do a full-on charge over this way anymore. So that's a problem. Those troops I brought up from the back lines are kind of dying over here. They're getting a few shots off at least, but yeah, they're getting dropped bit by bit. That's no bueno. We don't like to see that. All right, why don't we go ahead and time-lapse, and I will go in fast mode too, because I think this battle is just about over, but we'll let the Union at least make an attempt here, although I think it will be fruitless. But they've got some more troopers, so might as well allow them to. Alright boys, it's been another 11 minutes, and yeah, the Union ended up getting whittled down. There's just 4 soldiers left. Let's do a full yeet charge. Go boys! Let's go! And they're dead. RIP. The Confederates did a nice job defending on this day. Yellow are dead Union soldiers, red are dead Confederate soldiers. An absolute slaughter for both sides realistically, but the Confederates did manage to hold the town with maybe 30 or so soldiers left, maybe 40. I mean, a pretty decent defense by them, but props to the Union for making it out of this thing, the first trench, and then most of the second trenches here. They did a great job. Actually, they got the entirety of the second trench. It was just the third trench that they weren't able to topple. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.